In today's video, I'm reviewing a 2007 Volvo XC70. The XC70 was introduced to market for the 1996 model year and was produced through 3 generations and through 2016 before it was discontinued. Although the XC70 is no longer produced by Volvo, they've replaced it with the V60 and the V90 Cross Country, which are very similar overall. This 2007 model is part of the 2nd generation of the XC70 that was produced from 2000 to 2007 and saw a minor refresh for the 2005 model year. The XC70 is essentially a lifted all-wheel drive variant of the Volvo V70 wagon. It's got an additional inch of ground clearance, which brings the total to 8.2 inches. It's actually pretty decent ground clearance, beats a lot of other SUVs on the market. And then it's also got some additional body cladding that gives it a little bit more of an off-road rugged look than the V70 wagon. You'll notice that on the front bumper and grille, which is all plastic, the revised front spoiler. That same body cladding carries over the wheel well, along the bottom of the doors, over the rear wheel well, and then to the rear bumper, which you'll see also has a revised rear spoiler. Overall, I really like the changes that you get with the XC70 when compared with the V70. It's got a little bit more of that rugged off-road look to it, and in a lot of ways it's a really nice kind of premium alternative to somebody that might be looking at a Subaru Outback but wants a little bit more of a luxury flair. The other great thing about the XC70 is that this was introduced to market in a time when crossover vehicles didn't really exist. So it was a really nice alternative to getting an SUV. If you wanted some of the advantages that you get with an SUV in terms of ability to drive in inclement weather, ground clearance, cargo capacity, with the XC70 you get a lot of that, but you still maintain that car-like driving experience and good cargo capacity. As far as some of the features on the XC70, you'll see that it's got sprayers integrated into the front bumper. Spray those headlights to get dirt and grime off. Front bumper also has some lower fog lights integrated. Side mirrors have blinkers integrated. Up top we've got side rails and crossbars. Again, giving it that more sporty look. On the rear of the vehicle, we've got Volvo's trademark tail lights that are full body height, help increase visibility. You'll also notice that the rear bumper has integrated parking sensors. Now, given that this is a Volvo, it does come heavily loaded with safety features. It's got whiplash protection system, side impact airbags, and it's got inflatable curtains on the side door windows. Overall, a pretty great looking vehicle. Again, I really like the combination of that premium, rugged, sporty look that you get with the XC70. Looking into the interior of the XC70, you'll see that it's got a very Swedish look to it. Very modern, simple, clean overall layout. Nice color selection. Material selection's pretty good as well. Definitely has a luxury feel to it. And it comes with a lot of standard features and options. We've got power windows, power door locks, power mirrors. You also notice that we've got full power seats with 3 memory settings. On the steering wheel, we have controls for cruise control and audio. Nice clean instrument cluster. Now, a really interesting feature about the XC70 is that I thought Audi was kind of the first brand on the market to introduce a heads-up display with the navigation. But you'll see on the XC70 that that's integrated in this front dash. So it'll pop up when in use, and then of course you can also put it down if you want. Operation of this system is not incredibly functional. So I originally kind of went to the center console trying to figure out how to press enter to get the screen to go away and get the navigation to show up. Looked all over, I couldn't find anything. Finally realized that the controls for this screen are integrated in the steering wheel. So you can press enter with that guy to get it to the navigation screen. Usability of the system is not very functional, and these seem to be the only controls. So not a real great system, but again, for a vehicle that's getting up there in age, it was pretty advanced for its time. I also think it's a little bit odd how it kind of tilts forward. Obviously, they're probably trying to do that to improve glare on the screen, but it just has kind of an awkward look to it. So anyway, we've got that heads-up display. In the middle, we've also got AM/FM radio, CD player, You know, you can control the settings for the sound. It's got a pretty decent overall sound quality to it as well. We've got climate control that's dual zone for the driver and front passenger. It's also got heated seats for driver and front passenger. And then down below here, you can see those sprayers for the headlights, ability to lock windows for the passengers. And then this is for those parking sensors. You can turn them on and off if you don't like the feature. See, we've got a 12-volt outlet, emergency brake, 2 cup holders, center console. A little funny how these wires are integrated in here. See in the door, got a little bit of storage space there as well. Up top, we do have a sunroof that tilts and slides. Got controls for that right here. Also have controls here for reading lights. Got a self-dimming rear view mirror. On the driver visor, the ability to program up to 3 garage door openers. Seats are decently comfortable. Jumping into the back seat, first of all, I really like the fact that they've got these integrated screens for those rear passengers, especially handy if you have a child. I found this design cue to be a little bit awkward. It seems like this would just kind of collect dirt and debris. Could have made it a little bit larger to be a storage compartment, or just got rid of that design cue altogether. Legroom's decent, nothing to be too impressed about, but definitely good headroom. You'll see this model's got integrated screens and a DVD player. So we've got the DVD player here, inputs down below, as well as a 12-volt outlet. And then in this center armrest, we've got a little compartment that's got all the controls for that system. Also got the 2 cup holders. And then the seats do fold down, but it's kind of an awkward system. So that's the first step. Next step, there's a little rope back here that we can pull on to fold down the headrest. And then third step, you gotta push this guy forward. And it doesn't operate especially well. There we go. And that will fold down. See some cheaper plastics as well. So not crazy about this system. I feel like most vehicles, it's a 1-step system versus 3 steps in the XC70. So I think they could have done better with the design of that. Overall though, pretty nice rear space. Give you a quick view up to the front. Coming around to the rear of the XC70, you'll see that it's got a lot of cargo capacity, so a real highlight of the vehicle, especially because of the shape of the vehicle. It's very square, and so it's very usable space, very competitive with a lot of SUVs on the market. And then of course the ability to fold down that back row of seats can increase this space even further. So very functional in that sense. You'll see that we've got a 12-volt outlet that's integrated. Under the floorboard, got a little storage compartment, handy little space. And then over on the driver's side, this compartment is for the DVD player. So very spacious back here. Again, very competitive with a lot of SUVs if you need a lot of cargo space. When the XC70 was first introduced to market in 2001, it had a 2.4 liter 5-cylinder turbo with a 5-speed automatic transmission, 197 horsepower, and 0 to 60 in 8.6 seconds. EPA rating was 16 miles per gallon in the city and 21 on the highway. They replaced that powertrain in 2003 with a new 2.5 liter 5-cylinder turbo, sees an increase in horsepower to 208 and improved fuel economy of 16 miles per gallon in the city and 23 miles per gallon on the highway. Now, despite the fact that the XC70 is in a completely different price segment than the Subaru Outback, I can't help but compare the two vehicles because they share a lot in common. They're both essentially lifted variants of another vehicle that have a little bit of plastic body molding that give them a little bit more rugged appearance than their counterparts. And while this is a lot more expensive than the Outback, I still think it's worth comparing the two vehicles, because if you're looking to get into an Outback but you don't like the fact that it's very basic with pretty low level of standard features and options, primitive powertrain, and just not a really great overall level of refinement, the XC70 could be a really good alternative to that vehicle. You're getting a very similar vehicle with a lot of luxury features, much nicer overall interior, a more premium appearance, and then all of those safety features. And so really is a great alternative to the Outback if those are things that you see as downsides. But putting that all aside, I'm not that crazy about the XC70, despite the fact that it's an improvement in those areas when compared with the Outback. If you compare it to the likes of the Audi Allroad or the Audi A4, A6 Avant, even a BMW station wagon with the all-wheel drive system, I'd prefer over this vehicle. I feel like those German counterparts just have a much nicer overall level of refinement. They feel a lot more solid, more functional interiors, nicer features. With the XC70, I just feel like, you know, it's kind of all fluff. It's got kind of a prettier interior with nicer materials, and it's more luxurious. But when it comes to the powertrain, I feel like it's underpowered. The turbo's very loud. It's got a lot of lag. Transmission shifts pretty abruptly. And then the steering's got a lot of play in it too. And so I'm just not that crazy about the overall driving experience that you get with this vehicle. Given that it's a Volvo, I expect a little bit more of a premium overall ride. And while it's an improvement over the Outback, it's just not on par with those German counterparts. If I was in the market for a vehicle like this, I would lean that direction or stick with the more reliable Outback. So that's a review of the second generation model of the Volvo XC70. This vehicle's got a lot of highlights, but it also has some definite drawbacks. Starting out with the good things about the XC70, I like the styling on the vehicle. I think it's got a really premium, sporty, rugged appearance to it. And I like the fact that it's kind of a luxury alternative to the Subaru Outback. So if you're looking at getting a Subaru Outback and you want something with a little bit more luxury and tech, the XC70 is a really good alternative in that sense. I also like the fact that it's a very practical all-around vehicle. With the XC70, especially for this era, you're getting a vehicle that kind of does it all without having the drawbacks of an SUV. So you're getting a vehicle that has a great car-like driving experience, decent fuel economy compared to an SUV, although it's not great for a car. Also, you're getting really good cargo capacity, good ground clearance, and it's a vehicle that's very capable in snow and ice. And so some real advantages there if you don't want to go the SUV route. As far as the drawbacks on the vehicle, I'm not crazy about the powertrain. A lot of turbo lag, transmission shifts are pretty abrupt and not that smooth. And then I'm not crazy about the engineering of the interior either. I do a lot of reviews and test a lot of vehicles, and there were certain features in this XC70 that were very difficult for me to figure out. And so not crazy about some of those features. But overall, if you're looking to get into a vehicle that is an alternative to an SUV, you want something with cargo capacity, you want ground clearance, capability in snow and ice, but you don't want an SUV, the XC70 is going to be a really good alternative for this era. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the section below. For more car reviews, subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, thanks for watching.